Pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, and it's a real pleasure to follow some excellent speeches. And I pay particular tribute to my honourable friend from Rother Valley, who is incredibly passionate and experienced in this area, and through the various debates and campaigns that he's personally led on, has really made a tangible difference in such an important area. And I know we couldn't have asked for a more receptive audience than the Minister, who is himself passionate on the importance of this area. So this should be one of those very easy debates for us to all both agree and come away with lots of positive things coming forward. And I also want to put on record that we are an esteemed company. My honourable friend for Watford has written fantastic children's books. They are definitely favourites of my daughter on her bookshelf, and she often chooses those. So I've had the pleasure of reading those on a number of occasions. Now, Sir Christopher, literacy has the power to shape young people's lives. Through reading, children can improve their knowledge, build confidence, concentration, and inspire their imaginations. And as a father of two young daughters, I've seen this firsthand. And only last night I was at a parents' evening for my eldest of my two daughters, and the majority of our conversation was around the importance of literacy to build all those key core aspects. And we all as parents want the best for our children, and there is no better way to equip their future opportunities than helping them being confident, articulate and literate. That opens so many doors and so many opportunities in whatever career path they seek to choose in the future. And I've been active on this issue for my entire time in politics, both as a councillor before coming to Parliament, also in the 2010 generation, and during my time in Parliament. I was proud to be chair of the Libraries APPG, and I was the lead member for Libraries on Swindon Borough Council, which included delivering the then award-winning new Central Library. I've just recently joined the APPG for literacy. I host the annual Summer Reading Challenge in Parliament every year that does so much to inspire the next generation of young people to take up reading, particularly during the summer holidays. And I know colleagues across the House regularly turn up to be photographed and help promote that locally, and it is hugely appreciated. In my constituency, we have W.H. Smith headquarters, who are not only one of the biggest sellers of books in this country, but the Chief Executive, Carl Coling, is personally very passionate about that and supports huge numbers of national and local initiatives, particularly through the Literary Trust, to help create additional opportunities. I have quite a famous, wonderful independent bookshop called Bert's Books, which got fame in a recent social media posting when he innocently posted a picture of How to Kill Your Family and Prince Harry's spare book in his window that gave his store international fame. But he has bucked the trends to keep bookshops thriving on our footstep by excellent customer service, great social media presence, wonderful events for all ages and families, and a wonderful layout and design. So, and again, I've seen this with my family, that provides that excitement to want to engage in reading. And finally, I have the School Library Association head office also in my constituency, led by the wonderful Chief Executive Alanson Tarrant. And I've got four key points I just wanted to quickly raise. First of all, around school libraries. I should actually be less keen to discuss this because my first experience of libraries was as a school librarian. I was sadly sacked. I like to think my career's improved since then. But it is worrying that only a third of primary schools have a dedicated member of staff for school libraries. On average, it's less than 2 hours per day a library is staffed, and 2/3 of primary schools don't have a dedicated budget. Now, ultimately, this comes down to the choice of the leadership teams, the heads. It is very much a postcode lottery, and I've seen that on those visits. And it is something we should do everything we can. And I do commend the School Library Association, who do their best to champion this cause, to share best practice, to deliver opportunities to make that money go that little bit further. But it is telling that those schools with the best school libraries have the best engagement. It seems obvious, but it isn't a given, and it should be a given. Secondly, I want to highlight the importance of engaging volunteers. One of the former schools ministers, David Laws, visited one of my schools many, many years ago in my constituency. It was a school in a particular challenging area. And the head teacher was extremely excited to tell us about an initiative where she had linked up with the Penhill Ladies Luncheon Club And on a Wednesday lunchtime, offered them a free Sunday roast that cost roughly £1 a head out of the pupil premium budget. And those ladies would then sit and do one-to-one reading with the students who were furthest behind, because on average students who arrived at that school were 18 months behind, but by the time they'd finished that their primary school education, that school had caught back up with the expected average, and that was in no small part to those volunteers coming in and investing that one-to-one time that wasn't always a given at home. And again, I think we should be doing all we can to encourage schools to utilise members of our community who often have time on their hands and are willing to help out. I also commend all the volunteers who support various events, the literacy hubs. In fact, my office hosts those each year as part, in conjunction with the Literacy Trust. And again, just giving those extra opportunities where it isn't a given in their own family home. And I'd also like to thank Celia of Imagination Nursery, who not only works at an outstanding nursery in my constituency, but beyond her working, puts on sessions for parents that are interactive, that are social, that encourage families to not only read together, but to think about the books. They will pause, they will do work around what they've read so far, what they think will come forward. And it really does catch the imagination of that next generation. And I commend Celia for all she's done and all of those families who have benefited. Thirdly, around public libraries, obviously councils for many generations have faced challenges around funding, changing habits of people. But one of the things that has worked successfully in Swindon was the majority of the community libraries switched ownership to the parish councils, who have a little bit more flexibility around their parish budgets. That has allowed opening hours to expand and also created a greater emphasis on community events to increase footfall and engagement beyond the community. And again, utilising volunteers, delivering books to those who can't easily get into the library. And we have seen a real renaissance in the usage and book issuing within those libraries. And my very good friend Michelle Dutton, who didn't follow my path as a failed school librarian and became a professional librarian, was very passionate about emphasising the importance of the opening hours to match those of busy families, particularly in the evenings or weekends, linking around those events to give a specific reason to take the family there. And finally, Sir Christopher, a real emphasis, the importance of an emphasis on new parents. Through the National Literacy Trust, there are book packs handed out by health visitors, and I think this is really, really important. But I think we should build on that to really emphasise what we all here understand the importance of, so all parents know that supporting their children to benefit from the enjoyment of reading genuinely does open up those doors and future career opportunities. Thank you.